So you want to start a career in music. That's great. Whether your goal is to perform in front of hundreds of people or simply have your music heard by other ears, it's actually easier than you might think. I'm about to show you the 5 simple steps to get your musical endeavor from this to this. No matter what you experience and where you want to end up, it's all the same foundation for a career by doing it yourself. To do it yourself is the way of the future, and how the music industry works nowadays. Long gone are the days where your goal was getting signed by a record label and they'll take care of you. Honestly, today the vast majority of musical talent out there is not supported by any label, and it's surviving from show to show, just bringing out everything to the people themselves. The first thing you need to know and realize is that a successful music project is a business. This sort of thinking by no means indicates that you're doing it solely for the money or just to make a profit. No, any kind of artist, especially a musician, needs to realize this first and foremost, that treating it like a business, that is making smart decisions, plans, and networking to the right people, is the only way you can make anything happen for your group. Now we're going to assume that if you want to start a career in music, that 1, you have some music and you can either perform it yourself or have a band to accompany you. 2, you've practiced your stuff over and over and are ready to perform live. And 3, everyone in your group has the same goal. Now for the simple 5 steps that encompass everything. Those steps are create, promote, perform, enhance, and maintain. Much like the prerequisites I mentioned earlier, the first step, create, is just that, creating something that will draw an audience. It's not enough just to have some music. It needs to be catchy and it needs to appeal to whoever is listening to it. But that's not all. You also need to be a package deal. Have something unique that makes your group stand out of the crowd from the millions of other bands trying the same thing. Now this doesn't mean that you have to have some sort of a gimmick or anything, but at this point in time it can't hurt. On top of that, this step involves constantly writing new material. Once people get a taste of what you have to offer, you need to keep cycling in the new so that they don't see the same thing twice. Promote. Through the years, things have changed a little, but the principle of promotion is still the same. This is where creating a website is crucial. Every successful band in the world today has one as a sort of a focal point to get their music, news, and general updates out to their fans. The current trend that everyone seems to be diving into is MySpace. It's very easy to set up a band page and fill it with your own tracks for all the world to hear. Another few websites to consider that are very in popularity for bands are Facebook, Twitter, Pure Volume, and Reverb Nation. Each of them offers something unique, and it's never a bad thing to have more than one place for your fans to go. Just make sure you connect them to the most updated page so they don't get left out. For means of promotion, send a link to your webpage all across the social media network, and I mean everywhere. You can never get the word out enough to remind people of upcoming shows, CD releases, merch for sale, and more. When you have shows coming up, use them to forward along a poster to get the word out. Visual confirmation of a show works much better than anything else every time. As time gets closer to any performances you have, it's also not a bad idea to go old school and print them off and plaster your town with them. It's the oldest way to promote and still a pretty effective one. Perform. Now getting a gig isn't very hard. All you have to do is a little research and have a little professionalism. You can scout out local venues that you've attended for other bands, or you can get in contact with friends who are already in bands, or just the venues directly. Open mic nights are especially helpful at this point to help you get your foot in the door. All you need to remember most of all is that you're offering a product to the venue and you need to convince them that you're worth their time. While some places earnestly care about the local music scene, first and foremost comes their ability to keep their business running. Treat the gig professionally and things should work out just fine. As for your live show, well, that's up to you to create something different and unique. Instead of rocking out in your friend's garage, you're going to have an audience who's there paying to see you and what you've prepared for them. Be sure to remember that they are there and that they are the paying customers. After your set, be sure to talk to everybody. The more you interact with people, the more likely they'll tell their friends and tell them to return to check out your shows. This is a step that's overlooked a lot of times, and it seems like not a lot, but talking to people can go a long way. Enhance. This is the step that many bands fall short on. In some ways it's more of the same, but in other ways it's taking what you already have and making it better. To enhance is to take the things in your performance, the look, the sound, the promotion, and everything else that works, and make them better, as well as take the things that don't seem to be hitting off and dropping them. Smooth out the kinks and always try to get a step up from where you were last. The more shows you play, the more people will come to see you, and the more often they'll hear your music and buy your merchandise. If you never offer anything new or give them the same show every night, eventually people will just get tired of the same old, and lose interest. It's your job as an entertainer to keep it fresh, and consistently be making things new and exciting. The final step is to maintain, and it involves all 5 previous steps put together. Now, this is hanging on to the crowd that you have while making your attempts to grow even bigger. While you can't please everybody, you most certainly don't want to ignore your fans and forget the people who got you to where you are. Find a happy medium and keep in contact with your fans the most you can. Be friendly and be consistent with doing what you do best, entertaining the crowd, and you'll be just fine. Now, this may all sound pretty vague and more like a business pitch, but that's really because it is. Remember, starting a career in music is in fact a business first, and it takes a little extra effort to get it to work out. Anybody can do it, I promise. So the next time you go to that big concert and think, why not me? That's exactly right. Why not me?